Alright, now on to the next mission. Obtaining the classified information.
Boss, you need to make contact with the undercover agent posing as a soldier at the base. He'll pass you a cassette tape containing classified information. Start by taking a look at the agent's VI on your iDroid. Once you've spotted him among the Marines, make contact and get that cassette tape. Make contact with the agent posing as a Marine. Check his appearance on your iDroid. Thing is, he's not one of us, so don't let your guard down around him. One other thing, boss.
The first of these methods of getting the intel is basically the method that Miller immediately tells you about. In order to get it, you have to turn on the light in the contact or in the watchtower very close by. Unfortunately, like 3 runs ended by getting spotted by those guys up the street, and I really didn't want to keep risking this run just ending, even though I have been able to get up there without getting bothered.
There goes the signal. The target shouldn't be long now. Look around carefully. Take a look at the target's face on your iDroid so you'll know him when you see him. This is the target. This job. It came through a cutout, but I have a feeling the client is the Joint Chiefs of Staff. After all, the chairman has a lot of faith in you after Peace Walker. In other words, the agent you'll be contacting has been ordered by the nation's highest-ranking military officers to spy on a military base. That base doesn't follow American, Cuban, or any other law. Somebody wants themselves a place where they can interrogate POWs as they please without being held to the Geneva Convention. A black site. Something is going on in Cuba's little America, far away from the eyes of Washington. And the truth behind it all should be on that cassette tape.
Okay, so yeah, at this point all I'm doing is just waiting around for the next guy to come up. But in the meantime, I'm also starting to clear things up so that I'll have less trouble in the future. This guy in particular is always on the watch around where I need to be. I'm never going to really be leaving this area for this method, so it's worth taking the time to get rid of him. I'm wasting a lot of bullets, and I don't think I'm actually hitting any of them. So, all I have to do is just wait for our informant to come here. However, for whatever reason, the informant never ever comes alone. It always comes with somebody else. So there they are. And guess what? He was right, following somebody else.
Hey, you okay?
So knock out the other guy, and let's just see what this guy has to say.
This is the target.
Spit it out. You're here for... No! Hey, not so tight, huh? I put everything on a tape. I don't have it on me. It's in the central control tower, edge of the admin building sector. I needed to stash it. Had eyes on me, and these guys, they don't work for Langley. He's... you know... Huh? Forget it. You watch your ass, too. All right. Come on, do it.
Minor note about Snake's form on the Kata Hajime over there. The reason that the fingers are supposed to be curled like that is because they're supposed to be grabbing onto the opponent's gi. So, like, I would understand if this person was shirtless, which would be a bit weird, but he's not. Why didn't he grab the cuffs of his shirt?
This is Delta 4. Signs of enemy activity. Tightening security. Over. This is CP. Understood. Don't let your guard down. Out.
So yeah, all I did was just wake him up by kicking him and then just let him go to his business. Because if we keep following this guy for some time, he's marked on our map the whole time, so we can eventually discover some more about him. So yes, this is a long waiting game going through this method, which is the canonically story method. I've been saying just like, oh yeah, this playthrough. That's because this video has three different ways of actually completing this mission. So anyway, his buddy that he woke up, it will actually be a problem, and I have been caught by him, so I go to the effort of knocking him out. Enemy eyesight is always a bit weird, so if I'm just not being seen, I try to take advantage whenever I can.
This is Delta 3. Still no sign of the enemy. Standing down. Over. This is CP. Understood. All fire teams, return to your posts. Out.
It's alright. So this is turning into a bit of a watched pot never boils situation, where all I'm doing is stalking this guy, and then just waiting to see what happens next. So, in the meantime, I'm actually going to be putting this little waiting game in the corner, while I show off a few other things. For one thing, Miller continues talking while you're in the truck. Let's see the minor differences that he has to say.
Thing is, he's not one of us, so don't let your guard down around him. One other thing, boss. I've been told you can also use the watchtower on the west side of the base to contact the target. Just climb up there and turn the searchlight on. Once he sees that, he'll come to you. Once you've identified him, approach him and grab him. That's the contact sign. When you get out of that truck is up to you. Just be sure to take a good look around first. This job, it came through a cutout, but I have a feeling the client is the Joint Chiefs of Staff. After all, the chairman has a lot of faith in you after Peace Walker. In other words, the agent you'll be contacting has been ordered by the nation's highest-ranking military officers to spy on a military base. Not your everyday story, but there's more to it than that. That base doesn't follow American, Cuban, or any other law. Somebody wants themselves a place where they can interrogate POWs as they please without being held to the Geneva Convention. A black site. Vietnam is dragging on. The tide has turned against the U.S. and military is exhausted. The CIA is in the same boat, only they've taken advantage of the situation by trying to build this convenient little safe house on the Cuban coast. But a plan of this insanity would never get rubber stamped by the JCS. An official proposal has been submitted, but it only makes mention of expanding the refugee camps. Something is going on in Cuba's little America, far away from the eyes of Washington. And the truth behind it all should be on that cassette tape.
So now let's hold on this part right here, because we'll be coming back to that truck route. But now that we're back into the waiting game, I slightly shift my position to get out of to not get seen by the jogging guards. And I do this a few more times for a couple of trucks that also come from the direction that he's heading in. But eventually, it just took absolutely forever. And I don't know if my watch pot never boil situation was really that damn accurate or something. Because the moment I go around the corner to see, just see, like, if waiting in a different position is better, right there is the guy we're waiting for. And then immediately recognizing him, I go back to my original position. So, if you keep following this intel agent, this is the scene that's supposed to play out, and you get a whole bunch of information.
Are we on?
He made contact, and I told him to head to the central control tower.
He had an eye patch over his right eye?
Yeah, just like you guys said, it was him. Am I done now?
We're all set up on our end, too. Now we just wait for this boss to show.
So you're not gonna touch my family, right?
Depends on how it goes. Better start praying.
You hear that? The central control tower is a trap. Now what?
Despite the fact that the central control tower is a trap, it is actually possible to get the tape that's up there without getting seen, because the reason it's a trap is because right in front of the tape is a security camera. It's possible to turn off the power to the entire administrative building and then just go and get it. I'll actually be showing the slightly different ending talk that you get there.
Speak. So you want this tape?
So as it turns out, this bald guy has the tape we actually are looking for.
The agent's tape found its way into his hands? What was he doing with that tape? That takes care of the tape. In any case, come on home, boss. We'll have the client verify it.
Now here's where I made a bit of a mistake. I actually chose, in choosing to get that tape before talking to the guard who had lied to us, I accidentally missed a line of dialogue that I wanted to get. Because if you talk to this guy, he's still not aware of the fact that you know all this stuff.
Speak.
Stop. The other soldiers will suspect something's up.
Spit it out.
Stop. The other soldiers will
So he's still acting as if we haven't seen him ever.
Speak.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My cover was blown. They made me do it.
Speak.
They took the tape too. Soldier with a shaved head.
Spit it out.
Don't kill me. They got my family. They used them against me.
Speak.
Don't kill me. They got my family.
The agent's dead, but we know where the tape is.
He deserved it. Anyway, so that's what he would have said had I grabbed him before getting the tape from this soldier. However, as much as this run is at least an idea of what you can do, because all I have to do now is just helicopter out, I don't really like this as a run, so I'm just going to end this here. This is where the run is just going to stop. But we're going to be going back to that truck route we went to. And after Master Miller stops talking and we're at the front gate, let's see what happens.
After identifying the target, approach him and grab him. That's the contact sign.
So now that we actually know that the bald guy is who has the... I am really surprised I didn't get seen there. So that now that we know that the bald guy is the one who has the tape that we want... all we have to do is look for him and then grab it. Now this guy is turning around to look at this wall for absolutely no reason. Get some intel off him after we hold him up and ask him to lie down. This route is actually the ideal one if you wanted to beat this mission without using weapons at all, because sticking enemies up does not count towards that. Oh, and there's no security camera around there. Anyway, look around this corner. And I didn't spot him, so I was being a bit unnecessarily over careful. And there he is, and like other guards, just staring at a wall.
Speak. So you want this tape?
The agent's tape found
So
its
just
way
ask him to
into
get
his
down,
hands. What was he
grab the
doing with that
cassette tape.
That takes care of the tape.
So that's where you can get it very easily.
Come on home, boss.
However, you can get here faster. All that time that you had to be waiting on the truck, you may think, okay, you don't have to wait for guards though, even though the truck is slower than running. Well, the thing is, you can still get here faster than just waiting on the truck. And more importantly, you can get out faster. Alright, so I decided to completely screw myself out of the no weapons used trial. And just decided to knock out these two guards. It is possible, you just sneak around here and you can do it. Since I didn't turn off the cameras, I'm gonna have to watch out for some guards. But thankfully, I can go around some of the more troublesome guards and right to the truck that we were just on. Funnily enough, we could actually have gotten through this pretty okay. Like, the gate never closes, so we actually could have just gone back the way we came in. And now, to get our way out, we just lie in the truck. So now, while we're waiting for the truck driver to come back, here is the real way, or the best way to, or the way to get the best score in this.
Make contact with the agent.
So this is the hardest out of all of them.
Thing is, he's
So all you have to do is knock out that guard and distract this guard and run to the building.
also use the
It is a very time-specific route, and unfortunately I didn't get the optimal way of doing it.
turn the searchlight on.
So, right here, you can sometimes run past this guard, but it depends on his cycle. He's looking right at you, so what you can do is actually just fire a tranquilizer round at the spotlight, and it'll distract him long enough so that you can just run. If you can get that fast enough, you can actually run completely past this guard to my right, and just go right to the door. Unfortunately, I didn't get a good time there, so I had to knock him out. But this did mean that it was easier in the future because I could get this shot and slowly tranquilize that guard. Eventually, enemies in this area have sort of a weird relationship where they're all just sort of looking at each other. So if you knock out one, everyone else is going to notice it. So eventually just turn off the power to the building and no more cameras.
All fire teams, this is CP. A set of lights has gone out. Looks like a problem with the power supply. Whoever's closest, go check on the power system. Over.
CP, this is Zulu 10. We'll investigate east. Out.
Some of the guards' positions can be very, very tricky to figure out. So that's why I'm taking it kind of slow. There's two guards here that I have to tranquilize. And unfortunately, I didn't get here in time. So, unfortunately, I have to wait for this truck driver to not be looking at us, which is going to take much longer because he noticed the body. So now, I'm in a bit of a pickle. I have to knock this guy out. Thankfully, I do with a actually quite impressive headshot and run past him. So yes, while this is working, it's not optimal. So now right there is the guard with the bald head.
Take a look at the target's face on your
Actually getting here was probably not faster than the way I did it. However, getting out is going to be faster, definitely. Because even in the time that I got here, the truck in the other route is only just barely starting to move.
We'll have the client verify it.
However, what is definitely going to be faster is the way back. Because obviously I don't have to wait for any truck to leave, and already I know that two guards are going to be knocked out. This is where most of my runs died. My runs either died to the second guard I had to deal with, or it died to various guards spotting me here. There's about 3 or 4 problem guards that can take me out, but thankfully, knocking them all out means none of them are in my way. I think I actually could have been able to sprint through here, but it's always tricky to know what the watchtower guards will be, particularly the one that is almost directly in front of me right there. So anyway, I went through this route because I didn't want to use any special weapons, and I wanted to actually show, yes, you can go through. This is probably the fastest way to get through this. And the funny thing is, there's so many unoptimizations here that I am certain this can be done faster. I can maybe save about a minute on the way over there, on the way over to get the tape, probably about a minute getting back here, and then a minute on something else. So yes, my route on waiting for the truck has just barely finished. And unfortunately, here goes the slow crawl section of the run. Because I don't really know where a lot of the guards' positions are, and because I gotta wait for this truck, the rest of this run is gonna be a bit of a slog, because all I'm doing is crawling through this. So, for this time, I'm gonna be showing off some different things.
Retrieval complete. I don't think that could have gone any better. That's why you're the man in charge.
So this is the score for getting through the truck route. Pretty subpar time, but S ranking. So next up is actually something that happened during the route. I broke my own record for getting the tape time, or for getting the tape. Just barely over 2 minutes, and I know I can probably get it to 2 minutes flat. Weird thing is that if you extract the bald guard, they never search him. So they never find the tape. This actually forces you so that you have to go to the guard tower and get the tape there.
We've got the tape.
And if you get that tape...
Boss, the tape you recovered is clearly a recording of an interrogation. Proof that the base has been converted into a black site. But according to the client, there should also have been a record of the full scale of the plan. Maybe that was a tape we missed.
That's the different dialogue from Miller if you get that tape.
Roger that chopper request. It's headed your way now.
And here's another terrible unoptimization. The fact that I called the chopper at one of the last minutes. Or like just way too late, really. All this is lost time. So on the way to the tape, I could have been maybe a minute faster. On the way back from the tape, I could have been maybe a minute and a half faster. And for just like not needing to wait for the helicopter, I could have been maybe like 40 seconds faster. So all I'm doing here is just like looking for guards. I'm not really at any risk of ending the mission now, because the guards never spot you when you're here. Unless you're using like a rocket launcher.
This is Morpho, arriving shortly at LZ.
But yeah, that's pretty much everything about this mission that I could have possibly shown off, except for the POWs. But the POWs in this mission are really out of the way, and they are really to not much of a benefit.
This is Morpho, on station at LZ.
So now on this wonderful sunset in Cuba, this very nice looking oceanic front, gonna be ending the mission. So I already showed you. The different dialogue that Miller gives you if you get the tape from the control tower.
What the client wanted. Now you just need to get out of there. Doesn't matter to me how you do it. Call in the chopper, sneak out in the back of a truck. Hell, steal a car and smash right through one of the exits if you feel like it.
I showed you the different dialogue if you get the control tower tape. Now let's see what happens if you get the proper tape this time.
Retrieval complete. I don't think that could have gone any better. That's why you're the man in charge.
Only slightly better score despite being a minute faster.
Boss, we finished analyzing the tape you got from that soldier. It contains every last detail of the Black Site development plan. This is the information our client was after. No surprise that proposal submitted to the Pentagon was a pack of lies. The refugee camps they proposed to expand would actually be converted into interrogation facilities, run by a small army of pros in every form of torture there is. They've even purchased a fleet of transports. The facility's inmates wouldn't be limited to just prisoners, but anyone they considered a threat, renditioned from around the world under the designation of enemy combatants. This plan goes beyond the current paradigm of nation-states. But is something like this really the world without borders that Cypher wants?
See you guys later.